This is ThriveCasters,
Thriving, not surviving.
tackling youth issues that matter to you.
Welcome to another podcast with On Point. I'm Matthias Harewood with my socials listed here, and today we have a guest speaker on.
Hi, my name is Jednay. My socials on Instagram are JEDANAY.
Hi, my name's Adam. My socials on Instagram is AADAM_MLTARA.
Hi, I'm Joshan. My socials are JOSHANC_.
Hello, I'm Sophie and my Instagram is SOPHIE_BLMER0711.
I'm Nathan. My Instagram is @likey_NB.
Hi, I'm Matthias and my Instagram is at MTA_H14. Bit about myself, I'm 24 years old or 24 years young. I'm a personal chef and I became a motivational speaker about 3 or 4 years ago after getting out of depression myself. So that's how it's all started from, really, about 3 or 4 years ago.
So I'd just like to thank you for joining us today. And I just wanted to ask you, what got you interested in motivational speaking? Because you're quite a young influencer, and do you feel like you've been a role model or influencers for your peers or any young males?
So I started it because I wanted to change the world. I wanted to make young peers, old peers notice that there is a better outcome than just, running around the streets, doing nothing, doing drugs, doing crime. I wanted to see that us as young peers can change the world, whether we're 18 to 24 or older. I do feel like I have become a role model recently by doing stuff on my Instagram, my socials, and then carry it on through my own podcast as well.
So your podcast is currently called Motivated by Mind. So what do you aim to do with your podcast, and how come you called it Motivated by Minds, and has COVID had any impact on your podcast as a whole?
So let's start with COVID. Obviously COVID has an impact on everything that we've done. We've got to look to change how the way we speak, how do we adapt to every situation, including my podcast. The reason why I've called it Motivate by Minds is because I feel like together we can change the world rather than singly. So by speaking out about mental health awareness and about depression, anxiety, about all the negative stuff we go through day-to-day basis, someone out there will be able to help us through our journey. It's very hard to do it alone. Although it's very hard to speak out as well, by speaking out, it brings people together, and by our mindset, we motivate each other. So that's why I could Motivate by Minds.
Thank you for that. I'd like to pass on to Jed. Did you have any questions that you'd like to ask?
Yeah. Again, thank you for being there. I wanted to know, you said that you started becoming a motivational speaker because of experiences that you've been through. So everything you talk about, is it all based off experience, or is it just stuff that you've seen from other places?
That's a great question. Again, thank you very much. I thank you to Amis as well. Mainly is off experience, but if someone comes to me with a situational problem that I haven't occurred, I'll do my research on that problem and give my input to that certain particular person to help them get through their problem and help find a solution together. So a couple of years ago, I hit a rock bottom basically. I feel like everyone may hit rock bottom in their life, but it's about how you get out of it, and how you train your mind to do better basically. So a majority of what I speak about is through experience, but there has been times where people have come to me and I haven't experienced that sort of situation, but there was always a solution to what you've been through.
Yeah, thank you. And also, do you think motivational speaking is more like a duty, or do you look at it as a job?
I feel like it's a duty. Not everyone wants to motivate everyone out here. Not everyone wants to be that person to make a change. People just like to focus on themselves, which is completely fine. So I do feel like it's a duty to help others around you. We see a lot on the news, especially in this current situation that means the pandemic. That lockdown is very hard. And depression is hit. Mental health has grew as a whole. crimes grew, drugs, alcohol, all that has grew. So if you want to make a change, you have to go out your way to make that change rather than just like applying for it like through Indeed or a job website. So yeah, I definitely think it's a duty rather than to be a job.
Yeah. And one more thing, do you think like, because obviously there's a lot of like controversy in the world, do you think there's like some subjects out there that like are inappropriate to talk about?
This is a very tricky one because I reckon it's down to the person. If you feel like you can come to a motivational speaker like myself, and I would like to think about every motivational speaker out there that you can come to us and speak about the problem that you're dealing with, which again, leads back to what we were saying to Amis earlier and everyone else. It will help you get through that problem. But obviously, if you feel like inside that the problem is too deep to talk about, then maybe you start with a family member that you can trust, and then they can pass on the message in another way to like myself or others that can help with the problem. But I personally don't think that there's a problem or a situation that should hold you back to speak it out loud. So no.
Thank you for that. I'd like to pass on to Adam.
So Matthias, would you say you were good at your job?
I would like to think so. The reason why I like to think I'm good at my job is because we got to keep positive out here. Like, it's been a tough year, 2 years, and it may be longer for others. So yeah, I definitely like to think I'm good at my job, for sure.
Along with that question, do you think the media can worsen people's mental health and increase like youth violence?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The thing is, media is a big point, that can lead on to many subjects. But my take on it is there's a good side and a bad side. Now, the bad side is leads into the type of music we listen to, what influence actually put out there. Because we may see these, these people that we look up to, your Kardashians, your Kanye West, whatever people we look up to in the world, that they're putting a smile on their face, but yet theoretically behind closed doors, that's not the case. I read something about Anna Bakali. She was on Love Island, and she said that all of her surgery that she's done actually made her depressed, but yet her surgeries that she was going through wanted to make her feel better. So she went through this whole body transformation to make herself feel better, but in the end it should come out worse. So you have to look up to the correct people in my eyes. And now the good part of it is the social media can lead you to finding people like myself that can activate your life, that don't hide away from things, that don't do from behind closed door, that they're just out there, that just say it how it is and deal with it how it is. So yeah, it's the media is a very hard one. It's a good and bad, and along with the music, drill being a big one. Like, they portray this lifestyle that a lot of people look up to, and it will get you nowhere, I'm afraid. So instead of looking to the wrong side, look to the great side, where like Elon Musk's and your Jeff Bezos, look to them sort of guys, and I'm sure you'll go far.
My last question before I pass it on to Joshan is, how can we as young people change our mindset during a pandemic and the future which we're going to go through, as some of us will be getting our predicted grades in our thing, and it might be something that we wouldn't expect for our grades?
That is a great question. I've had that a couple of times before in the past. So change your mindset is a big thing in life. I've learned to train mine to always stay positive through the good times, the bad times. And one of the things I've done, which has really helped me through education and jobs, is to write down 10 things that make you happy. It could be family members, seeing your niece and nephew, being with your partner, playing PS4, whatever the case may be. And then when you hit a bad moment in your life, or a bad stage or a bad memory, you automatically think about them 10 things or read them out loud. So then it trains your mind to go from a negative to a positive instantly within like 0.1 seconds. So you thought about this bad memory, and then you straight away you think, okay, I've got this list. It's called the lovable list, I call it. And then you instantly train your mind to go back to that positive side. So then no longer you think about the negative, you think about, oh my God, I'm so thankful for, you know, being under a roof, having food on my table, So yeah, so it is very, very important to train your mind to stay positive in those times, especially with grades coming out as well, which good luck to everyone who's expecting grades.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to pass it on to Joshan.
Yeah, so my question was, do you think there's such thing as being too positive? So for me, I think I'm quite a realistic person because a lot of friends I have, they're like, oh, I want to be a billionaire by the time I'm 30. But for me, I just think I'm going to get to 30 and be so disappointed in myself. It's not worth being that unrealistic at this point in time. Or do you think it is worth having a goal like that?
So you've hit on 2 points there. You've hit on being realistic and being too positive. Now, I started being too positive. I don't think there's a such thing as being too positive. I think to look on the world as a whole and, you know, hitting your goals and writing them down, hitting them, writing targets, hitting them constantly, yeah, that's fine. But you got to think about it. You got to think about those goals. Are they realistic? So as you said for yourself, you know, being a billionaire when you're 30. Now, you're in a state of mind where you're in education, I don't know, you're going through, you get your jobs and whatever. Are you in your life, this is what you ask yourself, are you in your life where you can be a billionaire when you're 30? I can positively say no, but I can positively say that I can be a millionaire when I'm 30 because I know where I'm going. So you have to be realistic with your goals. So, you know, realism and positivity are 2 different things. To stay positive, you'll get to your dreams light work, easy, piece of cake. But to be unrealistic and be positive, that will cause a negativity because you're hitting a plus and a minus, which brings out a minus, as you know. But by hitting 2 pluses, you'll bring out a plus on the other side. So
Yeah.
you can have goals, aspirations, and dreams, but you've got to be realistic about it. For example, I can't sit here and say I want to be a footballer now because that's impossible for me to do. But I can sit here and say I'm going to own my own restaurant, or I'm going to be, you know, life coaching big superstars. Yeah, that's fine. But you know, you got to be realistic of what you want to do. So you got to look at your field, look where you want to be when you're 30, and the year gap is now, and then you write your goals from there. So you know, realism is a very fine print to having the great positivity and vice versa as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. And my other question was, do you think that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind? So do you think being fit and healthy sort of benefits you mentally?
100%. You know, to be fit and healthy doesn't necessarily mean exercise every day. It doesn't mean that. It means that you have a sort of routine in place that you do every day. So recently I brought a productive planner that basically states my 5 goals for the week, and then each day will break down goals. So I have 5 goals for the week, and then it will break down those goals. So health is important. Exercise, yes, but not everyone's going to exercise every day. Let's be realistic. But everyone can eat healthy every day, and everyone can have the right amount of sleep, drink the right amount of water. Yes. So by doing these things, will lead to a positive mindset. You know, including pampering yourself and getting a trim of your man them, or doing your hair with your women. So yeah, 100%. So you know, it does lead to a positive mindset, but you got to remember that it doesn't necessarily mean exercise all the time. So that's what you got to bear in mind.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. I think it was it Sophie or Nathan next?
Yeah, I think so. My question is basically just what sort of barriers do you face being like quite a young, in comparison to other people, like young motivational speaker? Because I know it's like more like it's more in the minority. So I was just wondering what sort of barriers you face and how you get over them.
It's funny you asked that because you face a lot of barriers. You know, I'm a young guy, as you know. But you get over them through, again, training your mindset. Like obviously the barriers that I face is like, am I too young to speak about just to see how I'm motivating people? How do I know the experience you've been through that are real? You know, you should be happy all the time anyway, because you know, I'm living at home, I'm nice, you know, I'll go wearing good clothes, whatever. But you get over them by self-love. That's how you get over them. First and foremost, everyone, you get over them by self-love, because it's very important to love yourself firstly. And, you know, you tell yourself every day, you're the one, you're the best. You know, you might be speaking to Chris Brown next week, who knows? But you still got to tell yourself that you are the best person. If you're sitting in a room and you're going for an interview, you're sitting in that room, you look around, I've already got the job. You know, you speak ahead, you speak into existence, which is a very key thing to get over barriers. You know, Adam's just come up with about the grades. Now, if you want your 5 A stars, I've got my 5 A stars. You speak into existence, but you have to speak into existence and do the work for it. No, the same with driving. I'm gonna pass my driving test, but you got to take lessons to know how to drive. So that's how you get into that's how I get over my barriers. Just a lot of self-love all the time, manifesting, law of attraction. You know, gratitude. You give gratitude to get gratitude back. And it works perfectly.
Yeah, okay. Following on from that, what would you like? What piece of advice would you give to like someone like a young individual who maybe wants to delve into like the motivational speaking sort of area, whatever? What sort of advice would you give to them?
I say go for it. Absolutely go for it. I feel like being younger and motivating people shows a bigger change than being older than motivating people, just because the modern era that we live in, there's a lot more youth. We are surrounded by a lot more youth. You know what I'm saying? We don't drive down the road and see 30-year-old men hanging outside a chip shop. Drive around the road and see like 16, 17-year-olds hanging outside a chip shop. Now, if they can see that the same age is motivating people and getting them that sort of like, not even publicity, but publicity we can say, but changing the game in a positive way, absolutely, because they will lead on. It's like a domino effect, as you know. If someone does it and it sees it's going to make a positive change, that other person going to do it, their friends going to do it, then their friends of friends, then their friends of friends of family and friends going to do it. So, you know, it's just that domino effect that carries on. So I say, you know, if you got that sort of mindset to want to make a change and you are going to make a change, then you definitely just go for it 100%. Like, don't let nothing stop you. You know, and if anyone want any help with that, just let me know, and I'm here to help out.
Yeah, I like the use of the domino effect. I think that's a good analogy, especially to use with young, because I feel like once more people start doing it, I think it'll carry on. But yeah, I think it's
Absolutely.
Nathan now.
Absolutely. Like, you know, as audience may agree with this, like we see a lot of news, which is bad news about the youth, but in realism world, back to your point, there's actually a lot of youth that are doing really well. So, you know, and it's a shame because news only publicizes the negative, whereas us being youth, we want to bring the positive into it. So, say for example, we're sitting in a room with 100 people, 116 to 25-year-olds, and 80 of them, I want to motivate people. That's a greater majority than less than of the minority. So it's going to change the world in that sense. So yeah, definitely just go for it, and we create a domino effect 100%.
Yes. I was just going to get an insight from everyone, really. And then Matthias, you can give us your definition. We'll go in the same order as we've asked questions. I just wanted to ask everyone kind of what do you think motivational speaking is, and what does that mean to you?
I'll start by saying I think motivational speaking is incredibly important, especially in the pandemic. Some people just need that message to be able to get them to keep moving forward, make progress in their everyday lives, and just have something to hold on to, some sense of hope. I mean, it's very uncertain times, and I think motivational speaking is a way to not only uplift yourself, but uplift others in the process.
I think the way I look at it is like it's something that we're very lucky to have it, because for the most part, there's not many people that's out there willing to give their time up to help other people in this world, like in anything really, and to speak on their experiences, to share them with other people, and then like give advice and try help them out with anything that they have been through or they will go through. I think is really important that like we promote it and get it out there, because at the end of the day, there's some people who are like stuck out there, like Matthias was saying, he was like hitting rock bottom, and there's some people that like we don't know are hitting rock bottom because they like hide it from everyone. And like I feel like we just need to get out there, let it known that people are there for other people, and if you ever need someone to go to, there are people out there that's willing to help you.
Well, my definition of motivational speaking is, well, so if someone has a target but they don't feel like they can like reach it, or for example, if a school wants someone to come over to speak to them about, trying to get the highest grades they achieve, they'll get someone in to make sure that people are aiming for that and to say there is hope that you could reach what you want to reach in the future.
Yeah, and then for me, it's just very uplifting, really, isn't it? I think it's quite helpful when motivational speakers talk about their own experiences, because then it's like something you can relate to, and it's just listening to motivational speakers, sort of just adding fuel to yourself and uplifting.
Yeah, I think motivational speaking is basically just, I like how it's like using people's like past experience and things that maybe weren't overly positive, but then like using it and shaping it into something positive, because I feel like that in itself's like like a really good message to send across to anyone who may be going through or been through things, who doesn't really know like where, what, or when, where to go next. So yeah.
I would say, to put it shortly, I'd say that motivational speaking is just a boost kind of to get you where you want to be, or to kind of get you back on track or something if you've kind of slacked. So Matthias, what is motivational speaking to you?
Firstly, before I give my definition, every person that the define motivational speaking in their own way is completely and utterly correct, like without fail. To me, it's a someone who can inspire peers around them. As you know, everyone goes through bad days. I'm not sitting here, I'm giving you false hope and say we don't go through bad days, because we do. But the motivational speaker is there to lift you up, to lift you up and get you through those bad days, to show you how you can get through those bad days. So motivational speaker is just there to keep you positive when you are on a rocky road or you hit a hurdle, and to show you that you yourself can actually do it on your own. You might need that little push to get over the finish line. Might need a little push to say you're the one, you're the best. I'm saying, so it's just that little urgency to remind you that you are great. You're on this earth to make a change. And I've always said as well that we've got to remember, every nightmare has a dream ending. So whether you are in the worst place going, best believe a dream's coming out your way, and that's what you gotta remember. So, for example, the pandemic, we haven't saw friends, haven't saw families, haven't been out clubbing, I'll come to that question in a minute. And now the roadmap's been out. That's a dream ending. You know what I'm saying? We can see our friends and family, we can go for food, we can go cinema, play mini golf, bowling, we can go clubbing, whatever the case may be. So, nightmares don't last forever. Dreams do. That's what we gotta remember, guys. And hit that question just over here. Can parents be taught this to motivate their children? 100%. 100%. Upbringing is very key. Very, very key to success in life. I give big thanks to my parents to bring me where I am today. To show them what's right, what's wrong from an early age, the correct age, or not too early. But yeah, show them what's right from wrong is very vital to them being a successful person in their life. 100%.
I hope you don't mind me just throwing this in there, but like, let's just say, like, realistically speaking, if you went up to someone who was like generally happy with their life, you started motivationally speaking to them, it maybe might not have that much of an impact, but like, because of COVID and everything going on, do you think like there's been more opportunities for you to get yourself out there and help people because of it?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. It's an unfortunate yes. I was always going to do this pathway anyway, regardless of COVID was out or not. But, this pandemic has kind of hit blessings in disguise for many of people. One of them being myself, being a motivational speaker. Like, as I said, there's positives in every situation. There's positives in a lot of situations, especially this pandemic. Now we've had a year and a half or a year and a bit in this lockdown, furlough, whatever you want to call it. And the right people will use the time wisely. Albert Einstein once said, "Time is an illusion." That basically means there's no such thing as time. So we've got to use what's correct. So be present in the moment. So back to your question, yes, it has got me out there very well because I've used what I know to get myself out there in such a difficult time for a lot of people.
Just to kind of summarize from me then, a big question that I'm sure everyone would like to know, including the listeners and the presenters. Have you got any advice on how to kind of tackle any sort of mental health or downfall during the difficult times that we're in at the moment?
My advice to you and the listeners out there is to just stay positive. Like, just remember that you're here to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? You're here to do what you do best. Whether it be a mathematician, IT, PE teacher, chef, rugby player, whatever it is you do, you're here to make that change. Times have been hard in the past, as we know, but to live in the present day is what's best for your life. Always remain and focus on self-love all the time. I do highly recommend reading. Is a very key to bettering yourselves. So just keep happy in it. Like, back to my 10 lists, that is a thing that got me through a lot of things. What makes you happy, the list will help. But just remember that the list is not going to be there with you all the time. You are going to be there with you all the time. So, bring back to self-love and just focusing on yourself and refining who you are will get you through these tough times.
Okay, does anybody have any last questions before we round this up? Okay, Matthias, I'd like to thank you for your time once again. It's been really useful being able to speak to you about your podcasts and your motivational speaking, so thank you for that. If you're interested in keeping the conversation going, then please make sure that you continue the conversation below the post and join us next week for the ThriveCasters podcast on Point WM on all Sundays. Thank you all for listening.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at OnPointWM and #ThriveCasters. Join us next time for more conversations that matter to you.